Hey guys, thank you for coming to our presentation on the local superstar pollinators, native bees. So let's get started. When you think of bees, what jumps into your mind? Yeah, probably a yellow and black stripy bug that you might run away from if you see in your garden because you've heard they sting. Fun fact, actually, about, honeybees. They only sting if you bother them. They're not aggressive creatures. Anyways, that yellow and black stripy bug is an Apis mellifera, otherwise known as the Western honeybee. And Western honeybees are actually not native to the Americas, they are from Europe. Worldwide, there are around 20,000 known native bee species, and there are 1,600 alone in California. And to your right is a bumblebee sitting on a rose in a garden in the Bay Area. This is a picture I actually took. Okay, so why are we talking about native bees and why are they important? I know there's been a push to save the bees in recent years, and that's great. But a lot of times people are only thinking about saving the honeybee, which is great and all. They do need our help as well, and our food system relies on honeybees, and who doesn't like honey? But there are so many different types of bees, and they're so insanely important to us humans and just biodiversity as well because of A, native bees co evolved with different native plant species in order to pollinate them. There are certain plants that cannot be pollinated unless they were pollinated by these bees. If that bee species goes away, that plant goes away, and vice versa. If the plant goes away, that bee species goes away. Um, and then for humans, why are they important? Because there are certain plants, certain crops that can only be pollinated by native bees. Some of these include cherries, blueberries, and cranberries, and other ones also include squashes and gourds and the annual sunflower. And so, as you can see, they're very important to our own food system and our agricultural economy as well. And so, let's talk a little more about native bees. Native bees are different than honeybees in that they're not social creatures. Where there's a hive for honeybees, and each type of bee has its own job, and they all work and coexist to have the hive running smoothly and raise the young and forage. Native bees do that all on their own. They nest and they raise their young and they forage all by themselves. And their size varies very greatly, from a couple millimeters to around 2 centimeters. And as you can see on the right side in this little box, you can see that they're itty bitty tiny bugs, and then towards the end, towards the top, there are really fat ones. And this is actually taken from this picture is of a box, a specimen box from the Berkeley Urban Bee Lab, which studies native bee species. And this was taken in this sample. These specimens are from Carmel Valley. And so let's talk about their color. Not all bees are black and yellow. That is a myth. There are some bees that are really, really shiny and metallic green and blue and black. And then they just come in all different colors. So, don't stereotype your bees to the Apis mellifera. And so you might be wondering, why are there 1,600 bee species in California? That's a lot, considering that I think throughout America there are around 4,000 native species, and California has like close to half of that. There's two main reasons for that. One being that California has such a wide range of habitats. If you can go to the mountains, you can go to the coast, you can go to the desert. California, we really have it all. We really have it all. Best coast, west coast. And so that's reason A. And reason B, we have a huge agricultural presence, which heavily, heavily relies on native bee pollinators. And then to your left is another bumblebee that I took, and it's flying off of a dandelion. Okay, so worldwide, pollinators are dying. Um, and this is because of wildlife degradation as well as habitat destruction and the rise of monocultures in industrial agriculture. And so bees also face extreme threats from land alteration and climate change. And bee populations would not and they will not be able to thrive and help us and help their ecosystems without our help. And so, how can we help the bees? How can we help save the bees? There's been a huge worldwide push to save the bees, but normally people are thinking and talking about the honeybees. But the honeybees are not the only bees that need our help. The native bees that don't even get recognized as bees and their importance goes unrecognized, those are the ones that really do need our help. And to the right, you will see a carpenter bee, and it is another picture that I took in the Bay Area. Okay, so how can we help? We can build bee homes. Woohoo! And like I said before, these native bees tend to be solitary. They tend to lay their eggs and nest in holes in wood. Some nest in leaf litter and in the dirt, but a lot of the solitary bees live in wood. And we can help them by making ready-made homes for them. Um, and if you do this, it will increase pollination in your area if you put it in your home. So if you're trying to grow some vegetable garden or you just want more flowers, having a bee home is great. It'll help you out. It's important to realize that not only bees will utilize these homes, all insects will, but bees will be one of them. And it's cool to see what goes in and what goes out and how they make their homes as well within the holes. So, how to build them? There are two different methods, and so the first method is by using untreated wood. You can either pick this up at a local store like Home Depot, or you can get a tree stump or a tree branch and just cut it. So it's like 8 to 10 inches deep, and then you get a drill and you get a string. And you want to use untreated wood because treated wood has toxins that are not safe for bees and other insects. And so the first method is you take a piece of wood like the one on the right and you just drill holes. You drill holes of different sizes using different drill bit sizes around 6 inches deep. And you make sure not to drill completely to the other side. And you want to make sure that you are making multiple homes at least 3/4 of an inch away from each other. And then when you're done, you just hang this in a tree or you post it up wherever you want to put it in your garden. And then the second method is, I guess, a little bit more interactive. You can roll up scrap paper or get bamboo straws or hollowed out reeds, and then you get some sort of cleaned can or some sort of cylinder and string, of course. And then you just put all of the reeds and the tubes together and you loosely tie it with string and you stick it into the cylinder and then you hang it wherever you want. And a really important thing to note is that you do not want to clear out bee homes yearly. If you look online, websites will say that you should annually clean them out, but it's best advised not to do this because bees don't hatch within a year. It depends on their environment, depends if there's a drought, and if it's too hot, if it's too cold, they'll stay in their little homes. So you do not want to clean out your bee home yearly. If after 2 years they're not all hatched, what you will want to do is take your bee house out to a field or a forest if you want to get rid of it and not keep it in your garden and you want to replace them. And you just let nature take control. You just put it out there and whatever happens, happens. But this way you know that you're not cleaning it out and killing bees that might still be in there. Um, and this information is from Professor Gordon Franke, who is a retired professor at Berkeley who still is conducting research at the Urban Berkeley Bee Lab. And he's very adamant on not cleaning it out and just letting nature take control. And so, if you want a more thorough walkthrough of how to build these homes, you can see these attached links. But for